In a quiet little town, nestled among rolling hills and whispered secrets, lived a young couple, filled with the boundless hopes that only new parents can know. Their baby boy, Adam, was the center of their universe, his laughter, the music that filled their brand new home. They had just moved in, painting the walls with dreams of a perfect future, a fresh start away from the noise of the city. Life in those early days felt like a beautifully written storybook. The sun seemed to shine just for them, and every moment with Adam was a memory they tucked away like a precious jewel. But as we all know, even the most perfect stories have their unexpected chapters. One night, as the world outside slept, a visitor arrived, not with a knock, but with a quiet plea that would change their lives forever. The night was a tapestry of deep blues and blacks, with rain falling in relentless sheets against the window panes. A low rumble of thunder echoed in the distance, a somber drumbeat for the unfolding scene. It was late, the kind of late where the silence of the house feels heavy, comforting. Suddenly, a faint sound cut through the rhythm of the rain. A soft, almost inaudible whining, followed by the delicate scratch of claws against the front door. The father, roused from a light sleep, felt a pull of curiosity mixed with concern. He opened the door just a crack, peering into the storm-swept darkness. And there he was, a large black dog, his fur matted and soaked, trembling not just from the cold, but from a weariness that seemed to seep from his very soul. The father's heart clenched. "Poor thing," he whispered, his voice full of compassion. "You must be freezing." He opened the door wider, a silent invitation. The dog hesitated for a moment, then padded inside, leaving a trail of raindrops on the polished floor. His eyes, when they met the man's, were a paradox of gentleness and deep-seated sadness, yet held a flicker of something else, something strangely protective. They decided to call him Shadow. He had no collar, no tag, no sign of where he came from, just a profound loneliness that clung to him like the damp night air. In that moment, he wasn't just a stray, he was a mystery that had washed up on their shore. As the days melted into weeks, Shadow's presence became a gentle, grounding rhythm in the household. The initial uncertainty faded, replaced by an unspoken understanding. He wasn't just a pet they had taken in. He was becoming a part of the family's very fabric. The most remarkable transformation, however, was the bond that formed between the silent guardian and the tiny human. A montage of their life together would show Shadow, a dark, constant figure, always just a few steps away from little Adam. When Adam took his wobbly first steps, Shadow was there, a furry shadow trotting patiently behind. When Adam was laid down in his crib for a nap, Shadow would curl up on the rug beside it, his soft breathing a steady lullaby. His head would lift at the slightest whimper, his ears perked and alert. He became the baby's personal sentinel. When Adam giggled, a rare and joyous sound, Shadow's tail would thump against the floor in a happy, metronomic beat. He never demanded attention, never barked without reason. He was simply there. A silent watcher, a devoted listener, a protector whose loyalty was written not in words, but in every patient glance and every quiet moment spent guarding the most precious person in the house. He was more than a dog. He was Adam's guardian. One night, the sky unleashed a tempest. The wind didn't just howl, it screamed, clawing at the old house with furious, invisible hands. Rain hammered against the roof like a frantic drum solo. The world outside was a swirling chaos of wind and water. Inside, the family was huddled together, the flickering lights of the television casting dancing shadows on the walls. Suddenly, with a final apologetic flicker, the power went out, plunging them into absolute darkness. The mother's heart jumped. "Adam's asleep upstairs," she said, her voice tight with worry as she fumbled for the emergency candles. "I'll go check on him." Just as she took a step toward the stairs, a deafening crash of thunder shook the house to its foundations. It wasn't just thunder, though. It was followed by a sickening, splintering groan from above, the sound of old wood surrendering to immense pressure. Panic seized them. They scrambled up the stairs, their hearts pounding in their chests, their flashlight beams cutting wildly through the oppressive dark. As their light fell upon the nursery, time seemed to slow to a crawl. The old heavy ceiling beam directly above Adam's crib, weakened by years and the storm's fury, was giving way. It was falling. In that horrifying, suspended moment, a sharp, desperate bark sliced through the air. Shadow, a black blur of motion, launched himself forward with impossible speed. He didn't hesitate. He slammed his body against the side of the crib, pushing it with all his might just as the massive beam crashed down, splintering the spot where Adam had been sleeping moments before. For a heartbeat, there was silence, a deafening, terrifying void. Then, the parents' screams tore through the night as they rushed in. They found Adam, wailing from the shock but miraculously, completely unharmed. And on the floor beside the splintered wood lay Shadow, whimpering softly, his brave body broken. The morning after the storm was unnaturally quiet, washed clean and new. The sun cast long, gentle rays of light through the trees, illuminating the lingering raindrops on the leaves like tiny diamonds. The air was cool and crisp. The father, his face etched with a grief too deep for words, carried Shadow's limp form to the backyard. Under the protective canopy of the big oak tree, he dug a final resting place for their hero. There were no grand eulogies, just the quiet, rhythmic sound of the shovel turning the damp earth. Later, inside the house, the mother watched as little Adam, oblivious to the sacrifice made for him, crawled toward the large living room window. He pressed his small, chubby hand against the cool glass, his innocent eyes looking out towards the yard, towards the freshly turned soil beneath the oak tree. The narrator's voice, now soft and filled with a somber reverence, speaks. Some heroes don't wear capes or carry shields. They don't have a voice to tell their tales of bravery. Some of our most profound angels, the ones who watch over us with unwavering devotion, are covered in fur and answer to a name whispered with love. The camera slowly fades out, lingering on the simple wooden cross planted by the tree, a single word carved into it. Shadow. Thank you for watching our story. If it touched your heart, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more content that celebrates the unspoken bonds that make life beautiful. We'll see you in the next one.